Hey everyone, welcome to the EV show by Ludicrous Feed. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Tom. Thanks for joining us on Thursday, the 28th of March, 2024, the day before the Easter long weekend here in Australia. So I hope you're all doing well this evening, wherever you may be watching in Australia or around the world. Yes, where else would you rather be on a Thursday night, right? Rather than being with myself and, of course, our regular guest, Riz from Carloop. Hello, Riz. So nice of you to join us, as always, on the EV show.
Hey, Tom. Looking forward to it. Now, we may have a couple of announcements to make tonight. And, I've changed my background. If Jess was here, he'd be proud. I've added another vehicle to the stable. And it's
Another
a very
vehicle.
special one. Another vehicle. Where is it? Somewhere there. There.
Oh, could that be a Porsche Taycan? No, it's a Spectre.
It is.
No.
It is the one and only.
Oh.
The Rolls-Royce Spectre in gold.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
It was donated to me by my Saudi uncle, who said, "You can have it," and I said, "I'll take it." I've got to show everybody on Ludicrous Feed and the EV show. So here we are.
Amazing what all money can buy you, right? Well, what other color is there? Gold. There's no other color for the Rolls-Royce Spectre, surely.
There is, and there's about another 100,000 you can choose from, but gold is the only way to go.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for gifting a Ludicrous Feed membership from Carloop. Thank you, Riz. And of course, Riz is from Carloop, and he has always kindly been sponsoring the channel. So thank you, Riz. And also thank you to Koba Car Insurance as well. I believe they are very close to launching their EV-specific insurance product it's going to be next month, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. Should have some details for you next month on the stream. All right, well, let's say hello to some of our regulars as always before we kick off the show tonight. Lots to talk about as always. We've got, Riz, you're a new member as well, all over the place. Wow, thank you so much.
It's basically, I've got to be everywhere. And there's just another way. Someone's clearly hacked in from Nigeria and he's making it happen. So
there's only one Riz Akhtar, we know that. Oh, thank you, Nick, for your super chat. Let me get this right. It's a super chat message, $5. Thank you. Happy Easter, guys. Have a nice long weekend. You too, my friend. Thank you so much. All right, let's say hello to some of our regulars. So we've got Jason. Hello, Jason. Nice of you to join us. And Stan from Kangaroo Island says that he has been watching the AEVA webinar on battery fires this evening. Only 6 fires in Australia so far. So major cause of fires overseas has been corrosion and vibration. So I think that'll be on replay on the AEVA channel. So check that out later on after the stream. Hello to H2 Rider. Hello, Aaron. Nice of you to join us. Hello, Mark. Hello, Steve. Hello, SWS. Yep. Hello, Ray. Happy birthday to Ray. I believe it's his birthday tomorrow too. Well done. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, thank you, Richard. Nice of you to join us as well. Richard was jamming to the login music or the wait music too, I saw earlier. So thank you, Richard. And hello, Kevin from Florida as well. Hello. Oz Creamer watching from Canberra too. Nice to see all of your familiar faces. Lovely. Oh, we've got Jay Jun watching from Buenos Aires. Hola indeed. Hola to you and everyone else from Buenos Aires watching. Yeah, hello, Stephen. Nice of you to join us. Hello, Jason, of course. Hey, Tom and Riz. Hello to you too. Hello, Gaffer. Hello there. And yeah, hi everyone else. Stephen's first time watching on the show too. Hey, Stephen. Very involved with AEVA and TOCA as well. Nice of you to join us, Stephen. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the show tonight, Riz. Lots to chat about as always. Let's put on the first very important article I want to share with everyone tonight, of course. And this is potentially a contender to Riz's garage. Now, Gaffer has tagged me on Riz in this little X message here, but this person here is living the EV dream. So let me just put this video on. So Riz, I mean, can you compete with this?
Wow, Rolls-Royce Spectre.
For those of you watching on or listening to us on podcast, this gentleman is showing off his garage. He's got, I think, 3 Rolls-Royce Spectres, well, 3 Cybertrucks or something like that. Lots of Cybertrucks, lots of Spectres. Yeah, this is a very lucky gentleman indeed. So this one's not in gold. This one's in like a magenta kind of color. Oh, Riz, you're on mute.
Carloop purple, that's what that is.
Oh, of course, Carloop purple. What was I thinking? Wow. There you go.
1,508 тысяч. И здесь получается
Yeah.
на 2,5 миллиона.
I mean, how much is what's the net worth of
3,5
this
миллиона здесь
garage?
машина.
Surely, Riz, it's got to be close to $1 million, more, $2 million.
Молодец. Так, кому
It's-
нужен Cybertruck? Вот аж прям 3
It's a
штуки.
lot.
Кому нужен
It's a lot of money.
Rolls-Royce
Yeah.
Spectre?
Spectre it is.
Just in case you were wondering, it's definitely the Spectre.
Да.
Oh well, lucky him. There you go.
Молодец.
That's-
Pretty cool. Now, speaking of the Spectre, I've got some news for you, Riz, and everyone else watching tonight.
Right.
So, this is one of the news items that Riz was talking about. So, we do have a date for potentially loaning the Spectre for a day to check out. So, I'll keep you informed, but it's going to be sometime in Q2. So, not too far away. We'll have that exclusive for Ludicrous Feed. Yeah, it should be good. Get a little walk around from the team, the PR team, and then hopefully go for a drive around Sydney. So, we'll see. Stay tuned. Yep. Yeah, SWS says, hope he has a good security system. Yeah, that's right. Lots of cars there. Alrighty, well, let's move on to the next article. And also, Riz, this is right up your alley. This, as we know, the Cybertruck is becoming very much a rapper's car.
It certainly is. It's coming in all sorts of rap videos, and I don't know whether the managers of these rappers are really, really clever or really in the know-how, or something happened where, let's just say, GM stopped supplying them Escalades at the time when Cybertruck was being released. So there's a lot of orders on them, and these guys happen to get it wrapped, get it into a music video, and release it.
Well, it seems to be the trend at the moment. So lucky for some again. Yeah, Richard's saying about the Spectre, maybe burnouts down the local Maccas. Yeah, that's a quick way not to get invited back. But yeah, I mean, one and done. No worries. Yeah, yep. Cybertruck is the new rapper's car, for sure. Yeah, Richard says cyber rap or cyber rap. Nice. Nice one. Okay, so now for those of us who may not be able to afford the Spectre, only a few of us, you can get yourself a nice MG4, which has announced a huge price cut, up to $9,000 in some variants.
It's looking that way. Look, we've got an SUV now that's under $40,000 drive away, the MG ZS. It's a compelling enough, electric car for anyone that's looking at buying a new vehicle. And MG4 as well, starting at $39,990 drive away anywhere across Australia.
That's a pretty good deal, Riz. Like, we're not just talking the MSRP. This is the drive away price. That's pretty good, like under 40,000. And you and I have driven this car from Sydney to Canberra, no problems, and back. It's not got the fastest charge rate, it's not got the hugest range, but you know what? For that price, it's a lot of car.
That's what it is. And, I think from anyone looking at buying these vehicles, they're still not the cheapest car. I think there's the GWM Aura is around 36,000 drive away. Not sure if it's going to last all too long. And I'm not sure about these prices either, because they specifically say model year 2023. Now, I'm not sure if it's got to do with their stock levels or what it is, but it would look a bit silly if they run out of stock off the back of this and then increase their prices again. So the general trend is prices of electric cars are going down, and anyone looking at potentially a BYD, there may be more to come. You heard it here first.
Oh, hello. We've got some breaking news there. Yeah, so as you said, Riz, the GWM Aura is still the cheapest EV, 38,163 drive away in New South Wales. Do you think it's all these price reductions are because states like New South Wales and Victoria have dropped their EV rebate schemes and stamp duty, exemptions in New South Wales? Surely, has to be that.
That's part of the situation, and the other main part is that the finance is getting harder for people to get, and there's a lot of stock. The stock is here; they've got to move it. It was 2021, 2, 3. It was a bit difficult to get cars into the country because of supply chain issues. All of those are sort of behind us now, so these cars are here. Anyone that's keen enough will be able to get in behind the wheel of one within a week or two.
Yeah, I mean, I drove the BYD Dolphin recently, and I have to admit, like, this MG4 is pretty good value and looks stunning as well. It's got a more aggressive stance. It's a real drive vehicle, pretty good powertrain as well, for the same sort of mid-range specs. So I think it's definitely worth looking into if you want like at least an urban vehicle that you want to drive around in. And I've also got the Renault Megane E-Tech at the moment, which is very similar in size to the MG4 as well. And that is a lot more expensive. Like that's probably pushing almost $60,000 plus. So like that's a lot more money than the MG4. And I mean, it's a good car, the Renault, but the MG also for that money, getting a lot of cars, as I said. All right, let's say thank you to some of our members who've donated membership. So Elon Musk is joining us. Look at this, Riz, gifting 1 Ludicrous Feed membership. I mean, how lucky are we to be joined by Elon tonight? Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, lots more MGs around town, that's for sure. I'm seeing that from the comments as well. Steve's saying lots more MGs on the Central Coast. Yep, lots of price wars going on at the moment. Yeah, that's a reasonable price war. Drop for $9,000 for sure. Aaron saying it's a no-brainer to switch from a Corolla at that price. Yep. Tassie EV saying just heard BYD Seal has had a price drop overseas, at least on the EV News Daily podcast. Yep, I heard that as well, or read that somewhere too. Yep. Battery prices are dropping. Yep, for sure. And Gaffer saying we should be still calling it the Funky Cat, not the GW Woollahra. Yeah, I mean, the Funky Cat's a cool name. Thank you, Ray, for the membership as well. Gifting to someone. Thank you. All right, well, let's move on to the next article. And this one we should probably touch on, speaking of BYD. And I was fortunate enough to go to my car in Chatswood today to get a 3-month, 5,000 kilometer complimentary baby check for my BYD Seal today. And I did take some footage as well. So the video is coming. Jans and his staff at at my car Chatswood were kind enough to let me film the some of the servicing. So there it is there. And there's the my car warehouse or workshop in Chatswood. There it is on a hoist. And there's some diagnostics going on as well. So this was plugged into the OBD port in the Seal. And yeah, some of the stuff apparently can be updated through over the air, of course, but sometimes you do need to be plugged in directly, as Jans was saying. So this is what happens during a service. I'm sure when you go to Tesla to get your car looked at for whatever reason, this is what happens as well. They have a quick walkthrough of the vehicle diagnostics, but this is what's sort of happening with BYD for their scheduled servicing. So this one's free. The next one's due at 20,000 kilometers in 12 months' time, or 12 months from delivery, which will be November for me. And we'll see what happens at that point as well. So kudos to my car. Great service today. Very good experience as well. So thank you. All right. So that was me today. And also we should probably talk about this, Riz. So this is quite important. Some news about the new vehicle efficiency standards in Australia. Some softening, some might say, but probably more realistic given some of the pushback from the FCAI and I guess Toyota, I suppose.
Well, we need to make compromises. It's not ideal, but I think at least it's moving in a direction to say, yes, we have fuel emission standards, or we're working towards something now. And they're categorizing or recategorizing a few vehicles, which is not ideal, but then it's better to have some progress, which I think is the most important thing.
Yes, that's right. So I guess the main pain point was the fact that there probably aren't enough utes options for like electric utes, let's say, or hybrid utes, or more fuel efficient utes. So a lot of utes and some four-wheel drives have been reclassed as light commercial vehicles, and that seems to have made people a lot happier. Let me just scroll down to the bottom here. There's, I think, a list of the cars that have been recategorized or reclassified. So got the Isuzu MUX, Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, Toyota Prado, Lexus LX, Mercedes AMG G63. When's the last time you saw that as a light commercial vehicle, Riz?
Well, look, in Coburg in Melbourne or Lakemba in Sydney, there's a few floating around. A lot of kebab shop owners have them. But having said that, I don't understand why that specific vehicle, there could have been any other Mercedes, but that G63 is what is all, that's what we need to recategorize because we sell tens of thousands of those.
Yeah, that's right. That vehicle definitely stood out for me, for sure. What else is there? Toyota Fortuner, Ford Everest, Nissan Patrol, and the Toyota Land Cruiser. So these cars have been moved to the LCV, which means that those targets don't need to be hit anytime soon. And then the other sort of bigger SUVs will stay in this passenger vehicle category. So also the credit scheme will be pushed back to next year, I think, as well, or rather 2025 instead of next year. Whereas these standards will start in July, I think. No, January 1, 2025. 25, sorry.
25.
January 1, 2025. The credit scheme starts mid-2025. So it looks like with those changes in mind, I think we might get a compromise between the lobby group and the government. So we'll see what happens.
Well, on the back of these changes, give it a couple of weeks, and what you'll start to see is manufacturers really starting to make some level of commitments, because now it's sort of set in stone, it's happening. And yes, we didn't get every vehicle in categorized in the way it should have been. We shouldn't have had a separate category, but manufacturers are already listening. Even today, Mini announced a new Mini Cooper E and SE models. So there's basically a lot of vehicles that are going to be coming into our market very shortly from the brands that we know today. And if they're not, then there's a lot to discuss later on in the show of all the new brands that are landing into Thailand, Malaysia, that are very likely to come here, and they have nothing to lose. They don't sell any ICE vehicles. So that's I think is what's really exciting in the next 6 to 9 months, to see a fair few of them land in Australia. And that's really going to push the traditional or legacy automakers to do the right thing and bring more EVs into the market.
Yeah, I think you're right, Riz. I think anything that the traditional OEMs lack in, there's no doubt the Chinese will make something that will fill that gap for sure. So it's going to be a very interesting decade for sure. We talked about this last week about who is going to start reporting on Tesla and Polestar sales now that they're pulled out of the SCAI, which releases VFACTS, as you know, each month. I think they're now going to be reporting to the EV Council of Australia for their data.
That's what it is. It's they will start to report it down, I believe, to Electric Vehicle Council, but I'm not sure whether Tesla was supposed to continue to report till June through FCAI.
Okay.
Whether they, I guess the bigger picture is whoever they report to, whether they report directly to the Department of Infrastructure and Transport at the federal government level. I believe they're the ones that should be collecting all this information. We see it in some of the state and territory registration data that we get through Carloop, and we should be seeing stuff at more granular level rather than, here's Australia, a big continent, we've sold 3,000 Teslas. Great, but we really need that granularity to say, where is it really happening? And all of that information is available. It's just a matter of channeling it through the right, data channels and someone collating it. And it shouldn't be a third party like FCAI.
Yeah, it should almost be like a census, right, of the vehicles sold each month to give us an idea of where we're at. We can't move forward if there's no data to back it up.
There is once a year. It used to be called the Motor Vehicle Census, and then they got rid of that in 2021. And now what they do is it's called the State of Vehicles, I think, in Australia. And ABS or Department of Infrastructure does do it, but they take a snapshot at the end of January and they release the report in July or August. So you can see how long it takes. We just need that system a whole lot more streamlined. So it's an opportunity. I'd like EVC is a really good organization to do that for 2 or 3 brands, but basically which every brand should be reporting in directly to like a centralized federal government run organization.
That's right. We really should be, I suppose, one collaborative nation rather than having 6 different states and 2 different territories. Yep, well said. Yeah, so Kangaroo says, I think this list is laughable, referring to the recategorization of some of those vehicles, especially, Richard's saying, nice to know that an AMG G63 is a commercial vehicle now. My plumber will be happy. Yep, a lot of tradies buying that vehicle at $363,000, according to Stephen. Right, yep. Yeah, and Aaron says maybe VW will announce that they will be bringing the ID4 to Australia again. Yeah, and also Tassie EV saying Volvo just manufactured their last diesel vehicle and it's gone off to a museum. Let's talk about that real quick. So yes, that's true, Tassie EV. So this is, reported by Electric and other media outlets today that Volvo has made its last diesel car in Sweden and is now putting it... No, is it Sweden? I don't know where they made this one, but this is going to be put in a museum in Sweden. Where is it? The Gothenburg Museum. On display for anyone to wonder the noxious emissions of your... I mean, Volvo are serious, right? We know they're going to be fully electric in Australia by, like almost 2 years' time, maybe even less. And here we are. This is the proof. Very good to see. It'll be worth a trip to Sweden to have a look at that. Last Volvo diesel. Thank you, Elon. Elon's saying that Tesla, 100,000 Tesla vehicles now in Australia. Congratulations to Tesla Australia. Great achievement, by the way. Well done. Who would have thought when I bought my Tesla Model S secondhand, how many years ago now? 8 years ago, that we would be up to 100,000 today. So that's a really good effort there. Where is it? Put it up. Here we go. Yeah, I got the email today too. 100,000 Teslas in Australia. 180,000 EVs in Australia, Riz? Is that right?
Close to 170. I think when sometimes they report the 180,000 mark, it's more with plug-in hybrids as well. But pure battery electric were around about 170,000 at the moment. Huge achievement given, what was it? It was end of 2022. We were around 85,000 of them. So... It's big achievement, and we're there 100,000 Teslas. That puts Tesla at round about 57% of all vehicles, all electric cars in Australia that have been delivered. 58% are Teslas. Big market share.
Yeah, phenomenal achievement. Yeah, well done. As Jason says, thanks Elon, and well done Elon. Yeah, great to have Elon Musk on the stream tonight. Very good. All right, that's Tesla, and sticking with Tesla for the time being, we talked about this too, Riz. So what is this? Thailand? News from Thailand? Cybertruck?
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be displayed. There it is. Any rappers in Thailand out there?
Look, I'm sure there's some emerging ones that will be at the Bangkok Auto Show that's on at the moment, started yesterday. And I've seen some walkarounds from the Bangkok Auto Show. But anyone that's interested, look it up on YouTube. Amazing. Like the amount of electric cars they have. They even had that Isuzu electric ute concept. They had it there on display.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to go to one of those Asian shows. Surely it must be, right? Surely out the front somewhere. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd love to visit one of these shows in Asia, right? Bangkok, Beijing, Shanghai. One of these auto shows would be pretty cool. Now, sticking with Tesla, Keen on EVs has been keeping us up to date with the Orange, New South Wales Supercharger location. And on X, he's been testing them out for us, which is great. And now they're fully operational, it looks like, for all EVs, not just Teslas. 6 of 6 stalls, 250 kilowatt max. I think they're version 4 cabling and housing, but probably still version 3 charge rates, given it's 250 kilowatts down here. So there are the prices, 70 cents per kilowatt hour for non-Tesla EVs, which I think is still pretty reasonable. I know it's on the expensive side, but then again, EVs raised their prices too recently. So you know what? It's not too bad.
For some context, Ampol did this over a year and a bit ago, and most of their chargers for Teslas anyway don't hit speeds faster than 75, 80 kilowatts. For most LFP Teslas, you should get 150 plus kilowatts. I think the limit is 170 at the Tesla Supercharger. So 170 versus 70, and you roughly pay 69 cents a kilowatt hour at Ampol sites. And at the Tesla sites, you're paying 70 in regional. Obviously, there's some variability in some of the metro sites, but metro can be cheaper than some sites, under 55 cents, depending on the time of day. So 70 is pretty acceptable.
Yeah, I was just going to say that some of the pricing is variable as well. So that's one good thing about dynamic pricing. You would think, yeah, if it's sort of quieter, the pricing should be less. So yeah, I mean, 70 cents is probably reasonable in 2024. We know Tesla Superchargers have the best reliability. There's always lots of stalls available. Unfortunately, the cabling is short for the V3s, but V4 and Orange, it's definitely worth trying out if you have a charge port not in the optimal back left position. So if you're heading out that way during the Easter long weekend, yeah, tag me and Riz on X or wherever you do your social media, and yeah, we'll definitely put it up on the next live stream for sure. Yeah, Tassie's saying that Mildura Supercharger in Victoria also opened today for all EVs. Fantastic.
Yes.
Very good. SWS is looking forward to the Maserati Recale Folgore. Here we go. This is right up our alley, Riz. Another high net worth individual here watching tonight.
That's it. So if SWS, if you know the Maserati team in Melbourne, given the Italian heritage, I'll be happy to take it up and down Lygon streets and have some Lavazza coffee at the same time. So if you know them, send them our way.
Well, especially because Ferrari won on the weekend of the AusGP, Riz. So, I think that's very fitting to have a Maserati up and down Lygon Street. So this is what it looks like. This is the Maserati Recale. I'm not sure if this is the EV version, but that's kind of the body shape you can expect anyway. There you go. Oh, there it is, the Folgore. Hey, it's a Maserati. Nice looking car.
Yes.
Sure is. Thank you for that. What else have we got? So Elon Musk again saying many Tesla supercharging stores have been fast-tracked and are now open to use this long weekend. Enjoy. Thanks, Elon. What a legend. Yep, Steve, that's correct. I thought Seals couldn't charge at Tesla superchargers. I think they can still use V2s. They just can't use V3 or V4s at the moment, which is disappointing.
Still no update. There's a lot of, Atto 3 and Seal drivers out there now, and I'm scratching my head as to why we can't get any update at all as to what's going on. Was it a hardware issue? Anyone with a Seal, please go and test it out for us. Is it working at the V3 sites that are open to non-Teslas?
That's right.
Because if not, then we'd sort of need to push it up and say, how are we going to fix this? Is it a hardware issue? Is it software? We know it's not the superchargers themselves.
No, it can't be. No, tag me and Riz on X or wherever, and we'll try and push it for you. Nothing mentioned in my service today either, so don't know. I think it's way above our pay grade, Riz, and so we just got to keep pushing it for now. Yeah. So yeah, SWS is just saying waiting for the lotto call. Powerball went off recently. You didn't win it. SWS clearly or Riz? No. So keep trying. Yeah, John X says weird thing is BYD Dolphins have no issues. Yeah, that's right. We had Robin Jules on the show telling us it worked. Only Atto 3s and Seals for some reason. All the same E3 platform from BYD. So I don't know what's going on. Very weird. Yeah, speaking of Tesla superchargers, this is the network map at the moment on the East Coast between Melbourne and Brisbane. That's phenomenal. Like compared to what it looked like even like a year ago. Look how many more Tesla superchargers have rolled out. And now that a lot of them are open to non-Tesla EVs, this is a very good news for Aussie EV drivers going on road trips this long weekend.
It's awesome. And, I think what they did over the Christmas break while they were waiting for some of these sites to open or to be even constructed was, the dynamic pricing and what they were offering after 9 p.m. at some of the sites, was really low pricing. And people shifted their charging behavior because it was half price or whatever it was. And yeah, now there's more and more. And I think Tesla's on a pretty sort of, they know they've got to hit it hard in Q1 and Q4 to get as many sites up. So the next 6 months may be a bit quieter. So we'll find out.
And, obviously, plan A for me on a road trip is always to find accommodation that has a charger on site. And that's brilliant because you just plug in or even a PowerPoint and the operators don't mind you doing that. Obviously ask for permission. That's like plan A. Plan B is having a Tesla supercharger or a DC charger close by. You can just go there after hours and charge for half an hour. And that's your charge for the few days you're at the town. So that's like plan B. And of course, Tesla superchargers being so reliable. Good to have so many now around our states on the East Coast. and hopefully more will come to our other states as well, especially in WA and South Australia. So fingers crossed for you guys. Now, speaking of Tesla superchargers, have a look at this. So this is what we were talking about a few months ago, where Tesla was selling their hardware to other providers. So this is a non-Tesla branded V4 supercharger getting some love here. I couldn't work out where this was actually.
In the UK, near Birmingham, and this is the EV Point network is run by a petrol station or service station company called EG Group that have those sites here in Australia as well. And yeah, they were, I think, the second company to announce that they were going to go for Tesla hardware after BP, but they've been the first company to roll it out. So 8 stalls there, V4 casing and the cables anyway. And yeah, they also appear in your Tesla in-car route planning. And yeah, it's really, really good to see. I mean, hopefully they have plans, I think, to roll out hundreds of sites in the coming months in the UK and Europe. So yeah, that's reliable charging hardware in the ground, ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. Tesla, as we said time and time again, very reliable, probably the most reliable hardware at the moment. And the fact that they're selling it to other providers is fantastic. Look how neat this installation is. I love it. It just sings to my heart how neat and tidy it is. Pedestrian walkway here, all well signed. The only gripe I have is it's not covered. I mean, the UK, they've got the opposite problem where they've got lots of rain. So again, exposed to elements. But here in Australia, not covered as well, exposed to sun. You'd think, Riz, like a 6-figure store, you'd have some sort of cover, some sort of shade, surely, at least for the hardware.
Yeah, it's likely, and we can't see it in this photo, it's likely that on the other side there, it's probably a service station with some sort of coverage, because they do operate quite a few service stations as well. Could be the one behind it, but yeah, ideally it should have some sort of a cover, but maybe the expectation in the UK is it's always raining, so get back in your car as soon as you plugged it in.
Yeah, put the aircon on or the heating on. Yeah, that looks like a Burger King, so at least there's food and toilets there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question from Stan. Does Tesla service them, Riz? Oh, that's a really good one because, reliability comes down to who can provide the maintenance for these things.
I would say it would be a combination. So initially it might be Tesla doing it, but ultimately EG Group would want that sort of capability in-house. So yeah, I can't imagine the hardware itself being too complex once it's installed to maintain, repair. Like Tesla's very good with that. I think, Tom, probably if you speak to a Powerwall installer, over the years they've made Powerwall so much easier for installers to install and sort of, get them up very, very quickly. So they look at it from all different angles. And I think they'll be doing the same thing here, that as soon as their system picks up that there's an issue, then it would either be a Tesla repair or charging repair person that'll go out, or the EG Group will have in-house sort of people that can do it. They already operate charging hardware anyway, just different types. So those guys will be trained, and I guess they just need to be trained on this specific hardware or have the manuals, and I'm sure they'll be able to do the same job on where to isolate, what to repair, what to replace, spare parts, all that sort of stuff. So shouldn't be too hard for the existing maintenance staff anyway.
Yeah, I remember last year at Macquarie Park Supercharger, which is my nearest Tesla Supercharger, there was a store that was damaged by a user, probably unintentionally. They must have backed too close to the stall, tilted on an angle, unusable. Within a week, that was repaired and ready to go again. So that's the kind of turnaround we need for reliability. You wouldn't see that with another provider. Like, we know how bad some of the other providers can be with maintenance. Like, you see charges down for months, sometimes years, which is very disappointing. And that's the stuff that gives people range or charger anxiety when they don't have the confidence in a network like this. So, hey, I'm happy to see these, given to sold to third-party providers if the maintenance comes with it. So well done, Tesla. Yes, so here we go. Mark B says, yes, Tesla service do fix these. I spoke to a technician doing one. Cool, thank you. And Tassie brings up a good point again. Neat and tidy, but no good for towing. Yes, that's another pain point. These are not drive-through stalls. Yeah, it's hard to unhitch whatever you're towing and charge your car and put it back on. So, yeah, we'd love to see more sort of ground-up stuff like the electric forecourt at GridServe, as we keep talking about on our streams. Yeah, H2 Rider, good point. Elon, please upgrade some of the older V2 chargers to V3 or V4. I agree. Yeah, change them over. If it's just the casing, why not just change that? If the control unit is still the same, right? Good point. Yeah, speaking of damaged Tesla superchargers, have a look at this. Bit disappointed to see this week in New Zealand. Ford Ranger driver arrested for vandalizing 4 Tesla superchargers in New Zealand. So in Taupo, yeah, I mean, come on. I don't care what equipment this is. Like, vandalism is a crime. I can't stand for it. So I'm glad he was arrested. I'm glad I'm assuming it's a he. But Riz, this is no good. We don't want to see this.
Yeah. Obviously, like, New Zealand's EV adoption is a bit further ahead than ours. So, who knows what the circumstances were of that individual. But yeah, vandalism or vandalizing anything is not a good thing. So hopefully this doesn't catch on.
Yes, and hopefully they were fixed post-haste as well. As we know, Tesla is good with their reliability. So hopefully somebody in Taupo is watching. Show us another picture of them fixed, or show them on the stream next week. Yeah. Oh, Jason's saying, same as the people who are breaking 5G. People are doing this? Breaking 5G towers? Are they climbing up on rooftops? What?
Yeah, seriously, they're burning them down because they thought that this was one of the conspiracy theories, that's what was causing COVID.
Oh my goodness.
So there's not good.
Yes, Aaron, I agree. Why do people feel so threatened? Why are people scared? Is it affecting them directly, or are they just reading, some sites or certain sources, just twisting their minds a little bit here? Don't know. Very sad. Yeah. Now, back to Elon, who I know is on the stream. So Omar from Omar's catalog was saying, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has sent out an email early this morning requiring Tesla employees to give a supervised demo drive of FSD Beta 12 to every person who takes delivery of a Tesla. That was 2 days ago. So yes, all new customers will get a short test ride in FSD 12, which is pretty cool. I think might get Nash over there for a quick drive. Riz, what do you think?
I think it needs to happen. What are the flights from Wollongong to San Fran at the moment like?
Yeah, just don't do it during school holidays. It's a bit cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, and Tesla Scope confirmed that as well. So full self-driving beta went out earlier to Tesla customers via 2024.3.6, notably still on newly delivered vehicles. So I was just curious about this. Like, do the customers get like an hour worth of test drive with this, and then it gets shut down, or I don't know what the exact deal is.
I think I read somewhere a month's free.
Month's free.
1 month's worth of free FSD. Like, it has to be installed on the car. Obviously, they want someone to supervise that first drive. It's sort of a mandatory thing. Tom, you bought a new Tesla, you can't go until I give you a 20-minute demo, which is fair enough. You go to a car dealership, most of the time they'll be hanging around the car 45 minutes to an hour explaining what all the features are. So it's not a bad thing, but I've read somewhere it was for the first month was free. And in the US, you can get a month-by-month FSD subscription anyway.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like a free trial. You can subscribe after that. Okay, understood. Okay, I thought it might be like pickup time. Here it is, and then sorry, I'm gonna cut it. So a month's not too bad. Get to play with it at least. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We knew last year when we talked about this FSD in Australia, we had some test drivers running around on the East Coast trying FSD in Australia. That story's kind of gone cold, Riz. I think we haven't heard much more from those tests, have we?
No, I think there's a bit of activity in Europe going on the back of that, and they were hiring in Europe a couple of months before they were hiring in Australia. So maybe right-hand drive is a little bit later down the track, but yeah, I mean, this is still good progress. Now they feel confident enough to let pretty much new drivers get a demo and try it for a month.
That's true. That's true. Now, do you remember we were at the Omada launch last week, and the question by one of the journalists was why is it that the ADAS in other countries seem to work better than when they are over here? Why does it need to be tuned when they come to Australia? And the polite answer was, well, basically roads in China, roads in the US are just better than our roads here in Australia. You know, sometimes our lane markings disappear for no reason, and all sorts of things happens on our road. So I don't know how FSD is going to cope with that. We'll see, I guess, in the coming, I don't know, whenever it's going to come. Elon, maybe you can tell us if you're on the stream there.
I think that because they were doing local testing, they're sort of ahead of the game. They've already got their software trained to know what our roads are sort of like. Because those operators, from what I heard, were doing, nearly 10-hour shifts at one stage. Obviously legally taking breaks and all the rest of it in between that. But yeah, that's they were collecting a lot of data and information. So Tesla's doing that, and I just haven't seen some of the other brands do the same sort of calibration and tuning. Actually, just on that, BYD and the Seal, they were out here for many, many months doing something. We were spotting those cars driving around. I'm not sure what they were doing, but as we saw that until the first software update, the ADAS was a bit, so that's part of it. Where does all that data go when they do these tests?
Yeah, that's a very good point, right? And these software updates are not just for Australia. Like they're like, global. They're sort of worldwide releases. So does that mean everyone's car's getting tuned as well, not just Australian cars? Must be, right? Because 2401, those kind of updates are not just for Australia.
Yeah.
Curious. Anyway, above my pay grade once again. Good point by Elliot. Paul Elliot here says, how are they going to do an FSD drive on a new car if the cameras aren't calibrated? That's a really good question, because anyone who's ever taken delivery of a brand new Tesla, it can take up to sometimes a day or two for these cameras to calibrate. So if they're just going to rush out of the showroom and test it, it's not going to work if they're not calibrated, as far as I know.
I wonder if the new software is different. I'm not sure. That is a very good point. I wonder if it takes that into consideration and says, I'm not only calibrating, I'm learning, and maybe the new code is that different for new pickups. Who knows?
Now, Richard makes a good point. So he thinks the Cherry excuse was lame. Lots of US roads are terrible, and snow and gritting roads removes all lane markings. Have we seen many FSD videos on the East Coast when it snows? I don't recall seeing many of those kind of videos in the cold. It's always in California, right, on the West Coast when it's nice and sunny. So that's a good point, Richard, actually. Good point. Mark says he's Dirty Tesla, YouTube channel. Chris has used FSD Beta on just as poor and unsealed roads. No problem. Okay, that's true. Seen some of those too. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's... thank you, Ray. You've pushed out 5 Ludicrous Feed memberships. Thank you so much. It's your birthday tomorrow, Ray, and you're the one providing the presents. What's going on? That's very kind of you. Thank you. Now, speaking of FSD in the snow, have a look at this, Riz. So this is Geely showing off world's first driverless drifting technology on snow and ice. I don't have the video with me, but I mean, that'd be pretty cool to watch if this is all autonomous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, no lane markings on this very controlled test drive, but yeah, that's pretty cool. There's no one in that car, as you can see, and it's drifting around, I presume. I mean, I wouldn't mind sitting in that, to be honest.
What does that red button do?
If no one's in the car, how are you going to stop it? I don't know. Good question. It's one of those engineering vehicles.
Well, actually, just on that point, so in the world where we will have these driverless cars, self-driving robo-taxis, whatever, let's say you get into the back of one. And what happens if it decides to do something you're not happy with? Are they going to have that sort of a red emergency stop button?
Jason says, don't push the red button.
That's right. Whatever you do.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, has anyone here sat in a Waymo in San Francisco? What happens if it's doing something you don't like? Is there a button you can stop? Is there a, one of those help buttons you can push to call someone from Waymo to help you out? Interesting.
And actually, just quickly on the Waymo one, there's apparently a pretty senior engineer from Waymo started this week with Tesla, on the full self-driving team, and apparently one tweeted something or put it on X that evening saying, "First day at Tesla and my mind's already blown." So just goes to show what we're expecting from this full self-driving stuff out of Tesla versus Waymo. They have poured, I think it's an Alphabet or Google company, right? They have poured billions into their training, and they're operating in very few cities at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting what the coming couple of months look like for full self-driving out of the Tesla vehicles.
Yeah, you would think Tesla is streets ahead with all their testing and so on. Yeah, and people are saying on the stream here, you just have to touch the red button, right? You just want to if you were in that car. Steve's saying it's the eject button that's already been pushed. There's no one in the car. Richard agrees. Push the red button. Push it, YOLO. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'd be wanting to push it. I'm just one of those people with itchy fingers. Don't blame you. Oh yeah, here we go, Riz. Did you hear about this week? How did BYD get away with selling an all-wheel drive seal when the all-wheel drive doesn't work? Yes, that was a video released by some gents in Sweden. They were testing it on snow and ice, and they worked out that it didn't, at some elevation, the front motors didn't kick in.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's okay on a straight or something. But yeah, I think BYD caught on. They provided the software update to them, and it worked after that. And they're going to push it worldwide, apparently. This is what I'm hearing. Very
for
curious.
anyone that's seen Beyond Nyland's videos on, especially when he's testing some of these vehicles, and because he says he's, a third Thai, a third Norwegian, and a third Chinese.
Yes.
And he reckons like anytime he does something like this, he's like, don't they have hills in China? Like, so it's really interesting to see. But, obviously, if they're providing those that feedback back to BYD and they're able to quickly roll it out by sort of one of these software updates, I think what would be very clear, and I guess it would be better for people to know as to why it didn't happen. Like, what is the reason? There has to be a reason behind why it wasn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I think the more transparent car companies are about these instances and explaining and then rolling out a fix and explaining to people, the more trust they will build. But if this sort of stuff keeps happening and people discover it, it doesn't look good on the brand and confidence for new buyers.
No, exactly. I think the PR needs to be better. Not just in Mandarin Chinese, but in English, different languages. If they're going to release this car worldwide, it's got to be videos that are released regularly to say, well, we're on top of all this. We've done all this testing. Our team's very confident in what we do, and so on and so forth. That obviously we've seen other OEMs do. I asked a lot of questions today at the service, including the Rustgate issue and the BYD Atto 3s from last year. And I just want to shout out to Jans and the team from Chatswood and my car. And they explained it to me. Like there's no rust. They've seen it. It's all corrosion proofed. So that they've seen a lot of BYDs come through. So this is the kind of stuff we need to be pushed out from the actual
BYD,
OEMs themselves, from BYD, not for us to explain. So that would give us a lot more confidence buying their vehicles for sure. Jason's saying there's no hills in Melbourne anyway. Riz, I guess you guys are safe down there. It's good. Plenty of hills up here in Sydney, so it might affect us. Cool. They can push out the all-wheel drive fast. Yep. Here's me on 2310. So that 2401 update wasn't quite fleet-wide. I thought it would be, but there's still people stuck on previous versions too, so we shall see what happens. Keep waiting. Now Sawyer's telling us that the Tesla Giga Shanghai factory, they're seeing export Quicksilver Model Ys ready to be pushed out, which is good. Don't mind the old silver.
Yeah, so this was a Berlin exclusive color when the Berlin factory opened in 2022. And now I guess they're doing it. They must have upgraded the paint shop in Shanghai as well, because they're doing ultra red, but ultra red was being done at Fremont as well. And they're not doing the cherry red yet. Maybe that's next.
Yeah, I'm seeing the ultra reds more and more on the roads here in Sydney for the new Model 3s. That, for me, that is the best color. Like, that's just, when you see it, it's like, ooh, that's a nice looking red. And this almost looks fake. I got to say, like, I know it's not probably, but
AI.
it's AI, right? Like, it's just amazing how many Model Ys are sitting there. I've seen a lot of Model X's in that silver color, which I like. So this is good seeing a Model Y in this color. I think this will do well if it ever comes to Australia. So we'll see. Nice. There's a reason why Model Y is the top selling EV. They are good cars. Let's move on. So we did that one. And yeah, speaking of EVs from China, so yeah, Xiaomi has finalized the pricing of their SU7 and lowered it by 30,000 RMBs to 50,000 RMBs compared to last year's expectations. So what are we looking at? So we're thinking it could start at about 37,000 US. So that's about 50,000 Australian dollars for this SUV, which I must say, it looks very Porsche Taycan-like.
I think I saw a tweet or something from the CEO of Xiaomi, and his explanation is, I've got a Porsche and I've got a Tesla, and I'm very, and I really like both of those cars, and this is sort of the best of all of them. So I've been very eager to find some, reviews of this car in people's hands. And I haven't been able to find one yet, but if anyone comes across it, please share it with us on X, because this is pretty exciting. A lot cheaper than what they were originally expecting to release it at. So the price war is real in China, and if this is what they can produce today, and apparently there's a really like an ultra performance version of this car coming in 2025. So it's going to be really interesting what all the reviews say. But Xiaomi, they can make software, they can make smart cars. They're obviously contracted out the actual manufacturing part of it, but the motors and other things are sort of designed in collaboration with the companies, but they'll be doing a lot of that in-house in the next generation of the car. So looks really cool, and we've got to keep an eye out on this one.
Yeah, as we know, Xiaomi, 3 years development. Here's the car. Apple, 10 years, nothing, zip. So yeah, I mean, tremendous innovation from Xiaomi. Now, we did reach out to Elliot Richards again to join us tonight, but he's in London doing Fully Charged live over there for the first time in London. So I think if anyone's going to test this car, Riz, it's got to be Elliot. He's the man. He's the man in China. Surely he'll be one of the first to actually give us a decent review of this car. See if it's actually living up to the hype and expectations. So looking forward to that from Elliot, hopefully in the next few months. Definitely would trust his reviews. Here we go. So Cameron's saying, yep, Will's Boy or Elliot Richards will eventually deliver. I agree. One of those two. Cool. Hal's saying Tesla has stopped taking Fisker trade-ins, unfortunately. That's reality. Who would want them? Looks like game over for Fisker, unfortunately. Yep, sure is. Anyone know if 2024.8 update enabled adaptive headlights in Australia just yet? I haven't got that update yet, so I don't know. All right, so back onto China again. So we've got Zeekr taking pre-orders for Zeekr X and Zeekr 009 in Thailand. Exciting.
They are. And for anyone, once again, that's interested, look up Bangkok Auto Show 2024. Anyone that's doing a walk around of those, you'll see they have a huge stand at the Bangkok Auto Show with Zeekr X, Zeekr 009, Xpeng, a lot of other Chinese brands are there as well. So they will be delivering cars in right-hand drive to Thailand this year. And Zeekr, bit of goss, Zeekr has 3 senior executives now hired and ready to go in Australia.
Right.
So Zeekr Australia is set up.
Yes, they are coming to Australia very soon. Yes. I've seen the Zeekr 007 and saw a walk around of that last week. That's a nice looking vehicle for sure. That I don't think that's being launched off the bat here in Australia. Hopefully soon, but yeah, that's one to look forward to. I mean this is kind of the more luxury premium, level from Geely. I wonder what the pricing will be like here is, because there's still that misconception about China vehicles that they shouldn't be priced too high. So surely they won't be too much higher than like a Tesla Model 3 or Y equivalent.
That's the thing. Like, we know that if you price cars far too high in a high interest environment, they just won't sell from a new brand. So they've got to do a fair few things right. SUVs, there's lots of demand, but nobody knows the brand. So yeah, should be interesting to see. I'm hoping that they'll be here by Q3 this year.
And hopefully Zeekr will see some of the reviews we've done. Hopefully they'll get us into one of these cars in Q3 to test out. Happy to do it.
I've already reached out to that leadership team, Tom. I've said, hey, there's the one channel where it's all got to be happening at, and that's the Ludicrous Feed channel and the EV show. So I've given them a heads up. We might have to just roll up in the Spectre and just let them know.
I was just going to say, if you bring your Spectre, I'll bring my lone Spectre. I think surely between us we can get this going.
We can make it happen.
There's our credentials. Here's the Spectre, and here's the Cybertruck. Yeah. Let's make it happen. Yeah, so here's a nice little tidbit for you. So the next Cupra Formentor, which is another SUV, will be all electric. When's it coming? I don't know.
Is it... So Formentor currently sold in Australia as a plug-in hybrid.
Yes.
Now, does this mean that... Is this going to be on... what's that Volkswagen platform? MEB, electric platform, all-electric platform, or is it a plug-in hybrid converted into an electric car? We'll find out, but yeah, we need more of these vehicles. Volkswagen, if you're listening, start sending, and we can't keep talking about it.
That's right. Keep sending your ID4s. Keep saying they'll be coming. In the meantime, we'll settle for Cupra, which, you know, is not a bad-looking vehicle. Like the Cupra Born is a nice vehicle, not a hot hatch, it's a warm hatch, but still nice to look at. Software's a bit clunky, as we know, but yeah, at least it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and they do handle very well. All right, so just coming up to the end of our show, a few more things to talk about. This is Porsche bringing its all-electric race car to Australia, the race series. So should be good. The GT4 E Performance, and it'll be competing in its own parallel racing cup series here in Australia. So I don't know when. I thought I read this earlier, but it's been blocked by a paywall. So yeah, I'll have to find more details as that comes to Australia. And I'm not sure if Brad's watching at the moment, but Brad Johnson tagged up me, spotted in Newcastle. There it is, our old friend, the BZ4X.
Newcastle Toyota, yeah.
Must be one of the 200 that's been sold in Australia so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked pretty harsh on this car last week. I mean, from the back, it looks like, I don't know, could be a Prius, I suppose, or even a Lexus. Same sort of generation.
I guess Lexus have been advertising some of their newer products, and they do look quite good. I'm hoping that what is it? Is it the RZ? That's their electric
450e.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hoping that there's a smaller version of that SUV that starts to come out. And I think Lexus overall with their premium interiors will do a reasonable job. And most of these cars will be driving around the city with anyway. So if they're not in the sin bin like Toyota is at the moment with being completely against EVs, but hopefully that some of those Lexus models start to roll in. It will build a bit more confidence, and yeah, people would buy them at 70, 75, 80 grand compared to paying 70 odd grand for a BZ4X.
Look, I'll grudgingly admit, when I was in LA last year on holidays, I actually ordered an Uber Green, and I got a Lexus RZ 450e, which I was pleasantly surprised about because it was actually a pretty good drive. It was very, very comfortable, very smooth, and the gentleman who drove me around in it was very happy with it. Retired guy. He obviously drives Uber on the side to make a bit of money, but yeah, he said it was a great drive and very happy, and yeah, I couldn't speak more highly about it. So, I think, as you said, Riz, I think they're not in the sin bin yet. They're doing good things sometimes.
We have to get them to do more.
I think, yeah, obviously you have to do more, but at least that's a decent product, I suppose. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't know how we're going to get our hands on one of these to test drive with an unbiased view, but we'll find a way. I'm not sure if the Spectre's going to hold much cred to Toyota.
No,
probably not. No. All right, we'll keep trying. Oh, Brad is here. Hey, Brad. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. Okay, moving right along and almost to the end. So, this made news today, actually. Anthony Albanese, our Prime Minister, pledging $1 billion to take Australia from pit to panel. So it looks like what is this, like a different solar farm? And I think Mike Cannon-Brooks might be involved as well in this.
Yeah, I didn't capture all the details of this particular story. I mean, obviously 1 billion is a lot of money. And so are they making solar panels in Australia? Coal generator to make solar? Okay.
I'll just quickly read the first line. Australia's first coal generator, AGL Energy, has teamed up with local solar innovator SunDrive to explore the joint development of a first-of-its-kind solar manufacturing facility in Liddell in the Hunter region. So that's, there's a lot more details here, but I didn't get time to read it in its entirety. Maybe we can touch on this a bit more next week. But yeah, $1 billion is a lot of money, so there you go. Some serious cash being thrown at this venture. Yeah. If anyone has read more in the chat, show us what it is all about. But looks like a different type of production, possibly. Cool. Well, it's good. More of this stuff is important to switch our economy to renewables, of course. Okay, here we go. So Gaffer's saying making panels here using local mats. So,
right.
Okay, great. All right. So we might almost finish up there. We have got one more just thing to talk about, and that is a month of free EV charging. So this is the 3 Sydney Eastern Suburbs councils, Waverley, Woollahra and Randwick in our east here in Sydney. They are running a photo competition that's closing in 3 days. So you've got 3 days over the long weekend to take a photo in front of a charger in one of these local council areas. And you might have the chance to win one of 3 1-month EV charging passes at one of these 3 councils, or any of these 3 councils, I should say. Of course, it makes sense if you live in the area or if you frequently go to these areas. But yeah, just take a photo in front of any of them with the ChargeFox operated ones, which is basically all of them, and send it in, and you'll stand a chance to win. So not bad. Riz, I think these 3 councils are doing good things. They're one of the more progressive councils in Australia, I think, for EV uptake.
Definitely for EV uptake, for their planning, for the number of chargers, for some pole-mounted chargers that they're putting up, and really thinking holistically about, what it takes to bring the community along the journey as well. So we've had some of the initiatives showcased over the couple of years, and Anthony and the team there, Sam and the other guys are doing a really, really good job at making sure that they engage the community. They let them know that these chargers are there to be used, and check them out if you're out there that end of town.
Yeah, so I'll leave a link to that competition in the video description below. Check that out. You've got 3 days, like I said, to get in the running for winning a EV charging pass for the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Alrighty, Riz, well that might do us for tonight on the 28th of March 2024. Nice of you to join us as always, and thank you to our audience, of course. So good to have you guys and girls here joining us on a Thursday night. I know we normally broadcast on Wednesdays, but hey, life happens and life gets busy, so thank you for putting up with us. And Rachel is saying, putting my makeup on to increase my chances of winning with a winning car selfie. Hey, why not, Rachel? Do whatever it takes. I might put some makeup on too to help win that. That might not actually help my chances. That might make it worse. But yeah, whatever it takes to get some free charging for sure. Thanks, Rachel. Good suggestion. And yeah, Ray, whose birthday is tomorrow, once again, happy birthday. Message for all: keep informing and debunking the EV hate media. We are the mythbusters of the world at the moment for the EV industry. So keep up the good work, everyone. Thanks. Cool. All right, Riz. Well, thanks again for joining us. Have a really lovely weekend.
You too, Tom. And to all our audience, have a good Easter break. But make sure you go out there, put quite a bit of wherever you charge, show everyone the right etiquette, and teach everyone about EVs. And as someone's just said, debunk all the FUDs that are going around, and keep doing the good work. So thanks for joining us, sharing all of the things you guys spot. So if you see some other interesting stuff, share it and tag us, and I'm sure we'll cover it in the show next week. So thanks, everyone, and thanks, Tom.
Yeah, well said. Thanks, Riz. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice weekend, and yeah, we'll see you hopefully same time, same bat channel next Wednesday. And as always, happy charging, everyone. Take care.